Coming up next on the Jeff Crilley Show, you're going to meet a Jersey girl who went on to become a national star on stage and screen. Her incredible journey is just ahead.
Many are predicting that the worst is yet to come, which is unfortunate, said one person here. Until now, they've enjoyed the reputation of being the nation's icebox.
Watched a burglar in his home this morning by webcam.
As a journalist of over 25 years, stories are what make my world turn.
Reporting live from the Dallas newsroom tonight, Jeff Crilley, Fox 4 News.
But in 2008, I took the jump from my familiar life and started a PR firm from my home.
We're talking about anyone with a camcorder like the one I'm using becomes a television network.
We started slowly growing the company, and we now have over 100 clients, and we've branched into the world of live digital broadcasting. I now own 8 different TV studios and have a huge team, and the stories that I now get to share are sometimes the most important of my life. Life has a funny way of coming around full circle. This is the Jeff Crilley Show.
Well, I'm going to begin this show with a shout out to my mother-in-law, Dorothy Snee. She is a Jersey girl and a proud Jersey girl who relocated to Texas some 30 years ago. But the other night, we're at home watching movies, and we put on Jersey Boys, the very famous movie about Frankie Valli's life. And I completely forgot that my next guest was the star in that movie, Renée Marino. Thank you for coming on the show.
It is my pleasure, and that makes me so happy. When people tell me that they were watching the movie, I'm always so grateful.
Okay, so tell us about your role in the movie.
My role in the movie came about in a really incredible way. I play Frankie Valli's wife, Mary Delgado. And in 2013, I was playing the role on Broadway, and one Sunday matinee performance, there staring back at me was the legend himself, Clint Eastwood. They started calling people in from our cast to audition, and even though they were looking for the role of Mary Delgado, my agent and I tried to get me an appointment, but they wouldn't see me. They gave me an appointment for a smaller role. The day of the audition, I go in and the casting director says, Renée, would you like to sing the song first or read the scene for one of the angels? And at that moment, I looked at him and said, you know, Jeff, I was really hoping to come in and read for the role of Mary Delgado. And he said, I was thinking the same thing. So I read the scene. 2 weeks later, my agent calls me, you're Mary Delgado in the movie. Clint Eastwood loves you. And I was like, whoa!
I mean, this is the kind of stuff they write books about. I mean,
really,
right?
It's so surreal. And Jeff, to tell you the truth, the coolest part was that once I got into the film, I had never done TV or film before. I sat and ate lunch with Clint every day that I would film. I picked his brain like a sponge, and a month into the film, he and a producer of the film with me were sitting eating lunch, and they were talking about how Clint knew he wanted me for the role when he saw me on Broadway. And I said, do you guys want to hear a funny story? I never got an appointment for the role of Mary. The only reason I got to read the scenes is because I opened up my big mouth in the room and asked. And they said, what do you mean? We requested you. We said, we want the girl from the Broadway show to come in. And I found out that day that there was a middle person, casting associate, juggling a few films at once and just dropped the ball. And this is such an incredible story because it represents the power of communication and when we speak up, how powerful that can be.
Wow. More on Jersey Boys in a minute. We want to scroll down your website because you do so much. You do coaching, you do TEDx talks. I don't know when you have time to sleep. You got a lot going on. And you're here in Dallas because you're speaking at a conference?
Yes,
Okay.
yes. An incredible conference by Dr. Fab Mancini. I'm so excited. I love nothing more than when I can connect with people in person, face to face. So I'm really excited.
Outstanding. And you coach on better communication skills.
Yes, everything in life starts with communication. And when we learn to master this skill, we become limitless.
Outstanding. She's got so many credits, and I found a great video as I was preparing for this show. Let's go ahead and roll that.
Hi guys, I'm Renée Marino, and hopefully you'll recognize me from Jersey Boys, the film that was just released, directed by Clint Eastwood. I play Mary Delgado, the feisty first wife of Frankie Valli.
Esther, what was the high point?
It has been such a beautiful year for me. I'm having the best time, and I'm just really making sure to take in each moment. But if there's a competition between what's more exciting, the LA premiere of Jersey Boys or my upcoming wedding, Well, I mean, I think it's a tie, but love always trumps, you know? I have so many inspirations. Actually, it was really cool while I was filming Jersey Boys. Clint and I had a conversation, and he's like, I want you to really give it to Frankie now, which is like our big emotional scene when we have a big fight. So I'm like, oh, you show up for a couple of days, and nah! And I just screamed because I forgot my line. And then I kept going, and then we finished the scene, and Clint goes, nah, that was it. And I was like, Clint, I forgot my line. He's like, it doesn't matter. When it's raw, it's good, and it doesn't matter. He goes, I used to tell that to Meryl when we were filming. I'm like, oh, just Meryl Streep. Like, that was so great for me to hear because I admire her so much. So, I was like, oh my goodness, like, I'm getting firsthand stories about, her process and how she works.
Wow. And you were so humble, and I want to compliment you on that, Renee. There's a lot of people, and you think about Hollywood, and there's a lot of egos, and sometimes you have, kids on a show that is going to be canceled next season, but they're, walking around town like they own the joint.
Yeah.
What keeps you humble?
I grew up with wonderful parents, a wonderful family, and they instilled such beautiful morals within me to remember where you come from. Always stay true to yourself, and you'll laugh at this. When I was moving to Los Angeles to film the movie, everyone said, Renee, don't let LA change you. And I said, are you kidding me? I'm gonna change LA.
I believe that. So we're gonna scroll down your IMDb because she's not a one-hit wonder. You've been on so many different shows, and as you look over your career so far, you're just getting started. I mean, so many people in Hollywood is a fickle business, but for you to have longevity in Hollywood, and talk about some of the other shows you've been on.
I'm so grateful for that because since I was a little girl, my biggest dream when I was 5 years old was to perform on Broadway, and that was like the equivalent of being a quarterback in the NFL. My parents were like, what does that mean? And I worked very hard, and I got to that point, and then I got to do the film. And after I did the film, I was a part of a few television shows. I had my first guest star role in a Fox new pilot. It was called Weird Loners, and it was supposed to be a recurring guest star, but unfortunately, the way it goes, it only lasted 8 episodes. I got to do some commercials, and I wrote my own one-woman show.
No kidding.
Yeah, performed it in LA twice, sold it out, and in New York City called I Am Me Because of 3.
Wow. Well, what I love about you is your stage presence, because when we watch the Academy Awards, you see actors who can't really present. I mean, I remember Dustin Hoffman, and Dustin, if you're watching, forgive me, but I remember seeing Dustin Hoffman getting nervous accepting the Oscar, and it occurred to me that when you're on a Hollywood set, you're not presenting.
For sure.
So where do you get your skills to perform in front of a big audience?
I love people. I really do. I love people. I love feeling the energy of the people in the audience, or if it's me meeting a fan or someone that just happened to see the movie. It's such a gift for me to be in the presence of people, and I just am present when I'm with people like yourself. Like, this is so much fun. What a gift. What a
I just want you to hang out all day.
I know. I'm like, let's just do this all day. This is great. Yeah, it is. I do believe that it's a natural, it does come natural to me, but I want to go back to what you said, that a lot of professional actors are very shy, introverts, because it is a different skill being on a set, being behind the screen, and then when you're in person or on a talk show like this where it is more live, it's a different skill set.
And people assume that you're going to be natural in front of a crowd because you're a big Hollywood star. We want to show a little bit of one of your speaking engagements, and you were actually hosting a big Tony Robbins event. Is that right? And what I loved about this is just how you make an entrance, girl. Look at that. It's like you won the lottery. Tell me about that event.
It was absolutely incredible. It was 2020. I just started my own business as a communication expert, and 6 months into being a communication coach and expert, I was asked to co-host Tony and Dean's first ever World Summit. And Jeff, both of them I look to as mentors. And it was surreal for me because of all the stages I'd been on in the world. I mean, huge arenas all over the world. I'd never been on a virtual stage where I was live like this, but then I was surrounded by 9,000 Zoom screens, people all over the world. And I have to tell you, that clip of when I first ran out and you see me just smiling, the energy from seeing all of these beautiful faces in their living room with their children and their families, it was just, it was mind-blowing, and it was an incredible experience.
Wow. We also want to show your best-selling book, Becoming a Master Communicator. Yes. How long did it take to write the book? Why did you write the book? And Clint gives you a quote.
Yes, he is on the cover with me. He's the absolute best. Talk about genuine people. I was just telling Jeff before that I value nothing more in life than truly genuine people, and Clint Eastwood is at the top of the list. I'd always wanted to write a book. I've been a writer since I was a little girl, always writing. And when I was doing my last Broadway show, Pretty Woman the Musical, I began writing my book on communication because I saw this problem existing in our digitally saturated world today, where people are forgetting how to authentically communicate, because instead of listening when you're talking, I'm like, and I'm scrolling and I'm not really paying attention. And this is why we face so many problems in our relationships and work. So I said, I need to write a book about this. So I'd get off stage after dancing and the crew guys would let me use their room, and I started writing my book. And it took me about 2.5 years, but I did it. I finished it during the pandemic and got a publishing deal, and it's been very exciting.
Okay, give us one tip from the book. What's one takeaway?
The foundation of all communication is the foundation you have with yourself. So I encourage you, when you wake up in the morning, instead of opening your eyes and grabbing into the phone to check into other people's lives, put the phone aside and ask yourself this one question: how am I feeling? Take a pen to paper, old school simplicity way of communicating, writing, and allow the answers to come through you, because what this does is allows you to move throughout your day with more alignment, because you've checked in with the most important person first, yourself.
Okay, in the 2 minutes we have left, I want you to talk to the other little girls out there watching who want to be you when they grow up. What do you want to say to those young ladies?
Stay true to yourself. You are going to go on a beautiful journey where people are going to tell you how you should do it and what you need to be. And I want you to get so clear on who you are and what you stand for that you stay true to that person through every piece of that journey. And I promise you, you will get to where you want to go.
Wow. This has been such a blessing.
What
this
a
is so much fun. Okay, we're going to end with her website, which is reneemarino.com. The great Renée Marino. Thanks for coming on the show.
Thank you for having me.
That's it for now. We'll see you next time.